I have studied Charlie Munger and just read few of his videos. He's an investor, lived almost 100 years, and he read a lot. And some of the points that I found interesting, I feel resonating, I want to share. Also to make sure that I'm getting the point. And if you have other ideas, I appreciate if you can send any comment. When he grew up, he found himself not succeeding or be top level at any of the field. So he kept on shifting from one to the other. And I think that made sense to me too. I don't have to go into my story, but companies I worked, there are lots of bright people. There was engineering. So I changed to the business. There are lots of bright people. And then I start to do something in Zen and meditation. And all of that is relating to see what I may be good at. But the passage I took, and I'm sure similar situation is for Charlie Munger, is that all the steps that he has taken gave him a sense of different industry, people, ideas, and how they live and who are good at. So that he learned those lessons. It's kind of like a silo. Each industry has its own peculiarity, and there are success people with certain characteristics. So if you go across those, then you get more general feel of what the world is and how you might fit. So one of his story is to learn how to be a good predictor, forecaster for the weather. And he found the concept of inversion, which is what are the ways to kill the pilot. This is in the Air Force or whatever the location and the work he was doing. And his job was to forecast, so that he came up with the idea. This is what you do to be killed, so that gives you a sense of where to go, not to be killed. Kind of like choosing the right business that you be fit. But if you get killed, meaning that you're not the top, it may not be wise to be there to stay along. And he had this idea of independency, which I also felt. My case was like when I was graduating, I didn't know I want to go through the same escalator, the Japanese way, and even with a big company and successful, it didn't make sense. So many competition. So I found a way from fairly succeeding in that business to bring the idea of the business MBA. So made the situation happen. And then I again found the difficulties, how to survive and do well instead of working 80 hours a week or something like that. So Charlie Munger went through that kind of a transition to find what it is important to be successful, but want to be independent. The thought of being independent to me is very appreciative, because the world is so big and I want to explore. And for that, I cannot be tied down to this certain occupation and stuff like that. I did the nuclear engineering, and I thought if I can be good at it, I may help produce 15 or 20 nuclear power plants in Japan. But it sounds so boring, just specializing. So the concept of multidisciplined idea was in his mind as much as in my mind, to the point that I left Japan to the US and traveled around the world, into China and Russia and this, that, coordinations, worked in seminars and consulting. Each case, I thought what the peculiarity and how they do business, but also relating to the people's behavior. Not to justify what I did to Charlie Munger's case, but I felt that he found what he likes is to read a lot. In my case, more exploring in physical, way, traveling and meeting people face to face. But he was enough independent and smart enough to get the idea from books. So he read a lot. In my case, I found Zen was very interesting. In his case, perhaps investment, because I remember him once saying that he was a lawyer, but he didn't want to write the invoice. I can understand that, because you are subservient for the customer to pay, but he wanted to be independent. I was the same. So when I was working with the companies, I didn't have much of a contract, but say, if you want to cut me off, that's fine. I may do the same, and the fee is so and so. It was a free trade kind of a situation, but I was dependent on the companies I visit as management consultant, often involved in the turnover of the companies. That was fascinating. So I found my niche in my case in certain area, but that is also related to integrating the multiple disciplines, as in the case of Charlie Munger. In my case, I have engineering background, business background. I could ask lots of questions to R&D, finance, accounting, human resource. So I developed the sense of how the organization works, going beyond the silo syndrome. So that became the case for me to identify the bottleneck of the company and to find a strategy to help to move and improve. In his case, it was more on learning people, business, investment, and all of that. And that required him to read a lot and choose certain companies to invest, and that's what he became so good at with Warren Buffett. In my case, I extended my work with the company transformation, turnaround situation, and relate that to my personal turning around, to be independent in the sense of being enlightened even. That's the Zen idea. Because that was fascinating for me to know who we are, what we do, and what's the ultimate, the happiness, instead of being consumed and going through suffering. So that's Buddha's idea, and I opened up Suzuki Daisetsu's book when I was at Stanford, and that was how many years ago? 40, 50 years ago. Yeah, almost 50 years ago. And since then, I'm into it. But what's interesting is that whatever to go through transformation in the company can be applied in individual transformation. As much I talked about the mini company idea of how each section or unit called mini company work with each other, with customers, suppliers, and connect to find the mission and go through the plan to check to improve the process, because they are not independent but related to each other. And then corporate strategy and that to be meshed together. And in individual case, the same, that I have different mini companies within myself. Some may be more interested in the relationship or the mind, finance or the health or the work, hobby, or being truthful to myself. I mentioned this about how to manage individual life with the idea of life profile. Those are the departments, so to speak, and I'm the one executive function is to orchestrate so that everything is balanced. It is as if Charlie Munger mentioned about don't go where you die. In my life's case, I don't wish to go where I'll die, as much as Charlie Munger says. At the same time, having fun, what you really like. So those consulting and turning around, even private equity I worked, it's also applicable for the individual's growth. Charlie Munger's growth is related to the company's growth, stock market, return on investment, and him getting the benefit. So those are the skills he found, having a multidisciplined ideas, not to go where he'll die. What I thought is that I think there's a phrase which says, God helps those who help themselves. And I think that's so true because although he said he wanted to be independent, for that to achieve, you have to use all the brain and ideas to come up with a strategy to help the companies to improve performance and stock price going up, which is basically helping the society for the money to be spent in certain industry and the company so that the whole industry can, or the stock portfolio he created can improve, which is also helping the company and the customers related to that. The similar situation is for me to turn around with the companies, what they do, is also helping me and also my own management of my life related to this mini me idea instead of mini company idea, because each of those are connected with the neurons and helping each other so that one is not just pushing too much and causing the bottleneck in other areas, or too much in the brain and the heart is missing. So you need to have a very overall view, not just specialized view, but all together. And when it happens, this word, God help those who help themselves, is that I'm helping myself. And what it does is helping my relationship with the companies. In Charlie Munger's case, he's helping himself to be happy in what he does, what he's good at, but helping the industry or the company that he put money in, and everybody's happy. So God help those help themselves. It's not egocentric. There's a nuance of it, but the point is that what is that you really like and help the society. And if you can find that, you have work cut and your life cut because you're happy doing what you do and helping, and you get the return of it. So I have done similar, not to brag or anything, I'm just relating so that I understand what he did, and especially the fact that he lived until 99, almost 100 years old. So I think about my life. I mentioned about my brother had the stroke, and what have I been doing because my father and sister had a stroke. Whatever the reason, so far, you never know, tomorrow I may be dead. But I've been exercising well, pickleball, bicycle, and diving and all that, and eating well. But I had some pre-diabetic symptom, but I'm taking care of it. So that relates to the life profile item, what I do and not go where I'll die, not go where I may die. So I was thinking that pickleball is, if you study it, interesting that you to stimulate the brain to be reactive, and that process helps me if I like it, if you like it, like Charlie Munger's case of that investment. If you like it, I call it waku. The sense of liveliness comes out. It's fun. Not so much win and lose because it's not the money. it's a play, but your engagement of the whole body and control of your psyche, of the mind, to be calm, making the right judgment, is applicable in investment, also living your life. So I guess the bottom line is that having those references is going to be a help. Like Charlie Munger in my case, and in Charlie Munger's case, he read Ben Franklin and all the people. He said he met all of them because he read so much books. I may have read quite a few books, but maybe have more in Zen, but also management and the history and philosophy, psychology, all the other stuff. So let's finish this from my point of view, that I related my life Charlie Munger's. My future is unknown. I see some similarity, analogy. And if he's got the help of God to help himself, because he helped himself to live his way, that helped him and the investment and all that to be wise. If I can do the same after working with so many companies for 40 years of turning around and improvement, but also applying me to do what I like, and then at the older age to keep focusing to be healthy and continue this sharing ideas and see what can be done in me, in my client, or even the audience in YouTube. There may be a goal congruence, aligning my mission to help people. I have a lot of work to do to help people. And this YouTube is not easy, but I'm fascinated because this tool, information, possibility is all here. So that's what I got relating to Charlie Munger, doing what he likes. In his case, he didn't do much of exercise, as I understand. It doesn't matter. It's his choice. But I think we all can learn and find the passage, find the mission to live well, but also help the society along the way.